Martinsville just changed everything. And I am not talking about just one moment. What happened on that track this Sunday hit this entire 2026 season from two completely different directions at once. One story, pure destruction. The kind that leaves half the Cup Series field in pieces and has an entire garage asking very serious questions behind closed doors. The other, a moment so perfectly timed, so emotionally loaded. It reminded every single fan watching exactly why we never stop watching this sport. And the craziest part, both of them happened in the same race, same track, same afternoon. There are two major stories coming out of Martinsville right now. One happened on the track. The other, it is already brewing in the garage. And trust me, both of them matter. If you care about this championship battle, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's get into it. Because the first story out of Martinsville is honestly one of the most aggressive and confusing moments we have seen all season. It all went down on lap 324, late race restart. Tempers already running high like they always are at this short track. And then Bubba Wallace just absolutely loses it. He gets into the back of Carson Hocevar's number 77 Chevrolet once. Then just drives straight through him. I am not talking about a normal bump and run. Multiple hits, center of the corner, no hesitation, no backing out. Next thing you know, the whole field behind them has nowhere to go. Massive pileup, cars everywhere. A huge chunk of the NASCAR Cup Series field taken out in seconds. And here is the thing that has fans scratching their heads. When you look at the replay, Hocevar did not really do anything that screamed retaliation worthy. Yeah, they went 3 wide earlier into turn 1. Wallace clearly did not like that. But this response felt like a massive escalation, and I am telling you, everyone watching felt it immediately. Even Wallace admitted it afterward. Told Jamie Little on Fox Sports he misjudged, said he did not mean to turn him, mentioned that earlier 3 wide moment as the trigger. But still owned that he got it wrong in the center of the corner. He owned it, but the damage was already done. Hocevar somehow salvaged a 15th place finish. Honestly impressive considering what hit him. Wallace, total disaster, wrecked car, done for the day. Finished 36th with a DNF. And this is where it really starts to hurt. That is now back-to-back finishes of 34th or worse. Just weeks ago, he was sitting second in the point standings. Now he leaves Martinsville all the way down in 11th. Think about that for a second. That is not just a bad day. That is a massive momentum collapse at the worst possible time. After the race, you could hear the frustration in his voice. He talked about how much expectation they had coming into one of his favorite tracks. Hardy's on the car. Speed looking real in practice. And then Sunday just did not show up when it mattered. And honestly, that part hits different. Because here is something people forget when they watch Bubba Wallace race. The pressure on this man is not normal. He is NASCAR's first full-time black driver in the Cup Series in the modern era. Every single weekend, the expectations, the sponsors, the spotlight, it sits heavier on him than most drivers in that garage will ever understand. Hardy's came on board this season wanting visibility, wanting results. And back-to-back disasters like this, that conversation inside the 23 car hauler is not easy right now. Think about that for a second. And we have seen this pattern before with this team. Fast early in the weekend, speed in practice, and then it just does not translate when the race gets real. As a fan, that is a hard thing to watch. Now, here is where the second story begins. Because apparently the incident on track is only part of what people are talking about inside that garage right now. According to sources close to the paddock, there are private conversations happening about Wallace's composure this season. That this pattern of aggressive moves under pressure is becoming a real concern internally. That some people close to the team are questioning whether the mental reset between weekends is happening the way it needs to. Now, let me be completely clear. NASCAR has not issued any statement. 23XI Racing has released nothing official. There is zero formal action of any kind. These are private conversations that have leaked out, nothing more, nothing confirmed. But the mood in that garage right now, insiders are saying it is tense. And when you think about it, back-to-back disasters, a massive on-track incident that took out half the field, a points free fall from 2nd to 11th. When things go wrong this fast, people start talking. People start asking questions. Is this just a rough patch that every team goes through early in a season? Or is there something deeper that needs addressing before Bristol? As a fan, I will say this. Unless something official comes out right now, this is just garage talk. But the kind of talk that does not go away quietly. The Easter break is coming, and that might be exactly what this team needs. A full reset, mentally, mechanically, everything. But one thing is certain, drivers around the 23 car are going to remember lap 324 at Martinsville. That moment does not get forgotten quickly on this circuit. Now, let's flip the page completely, because on the absolute opposite end of the emotional spectrum, we got something really special this weekend. Chase Elliott finally got it done. First win of the season. 22nd win of his career, and it did not come easy. Not even close. He started 10th, spent a lot of time stuck outside the top 5, not dominating, not leading. Just surviving and staying clean while Hamlin controlled everything up front. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin was putting on a clinic. Started on the pole. Led 292 of the first 317 laps. This looked like Hamlin's race to lose. Everybody watching could see it. Then everything changed on lap 312. Crew chief Alan Gustafson makes the call pit earlier than every other contender. A gamble. The kind of call that fans love when it works, and question like crazy when it does not. This time it worked perfectly. Caution came out. Elliott suddenly had track position. Ross Chastain briefly grabbed the lead by staying out. But Elliott got around him on the restart and never looked back. Led the final 69 laps. Held off Hamlin by 0.565 seconds at the stripe. That is Martinsville. That is pressure racing right there. And you could feel what this meant to him. This is not just another win on the board. This is the kind of win that validates everything. For Elliott. For Gustafson, whose strategy calls get questioned constantly by fans online. Even Rick Hendrick called Gustafson that morning, reminding him this is a marathon, not a sprint. Let that sink in. The owner of the team, calling his crew chief race morning. Just to keep the faith. And that mindset paid off by Sunday evening. And here is the detail that gives you actual goosebumps. This win came exactly 11 years after Chase Elliott's Cup Series debut. March 29, 2015. He finished 38th that day. That race was won by Denny Hamlin. Now same track 11 years later, he beats Hamlin to get career win number 22. That is not just a stat. That is not just a number. That is legacy. That is full circle. That is NASCAR storytelling at its absolute best. And there is even more going on behind the scenes right now. Tyler Reek is having a massive start to the season in a contract year with 23XI Racing. Hamlin already hinted they are working on locking him into a new deal soon. NASCAR also just dropped the 15 nominees for the 2027 Hall of Fame class. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, Greg Biffle. The legacy and the future of this sport both in the spotlight at the same time. And now everything pauses for Easter before Bristol Motor Speedway on April 12th. Kyle Larson led 411 of 500 laps at Bristol last April. So yeah, when that race weekend comes around, you already know what the conversation is going to be. So when you step back and look at it, all one race gave us chaos, frustration, and massive consequences for a driver trying to hold on to momentum. And at the same time, it gave us a perfectly executed win that could kickstart an entire championship run. That is NASCAR. That is why we watch every single week. The racing, the strategy, the drama, the rivalries. So, now I want to hear from you. Was Bubba Wallace's move on Hocevar just frustration finally boiling over, or did that cross a line completely? And did Chase Elliott just change the entire tone of his 2026 season with this win? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you love honest, passionate NASCAR coverage like this, like the video and subscribe. If you are the kind of fan who watches every lap, argues about strategy, and genuinely cares about this sport the way we do, you belong here. Because if Martinsville just gave us all of this in one single afternoon, buckle up. This season is just getting started.